At higher levels in 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, the Bards can become very powerful, very versatile spellcasters, but like all spellcasting classes, they gotta start somewhere, so we're talking about Cantrips. Hey fellow Game Masters, I'm Richard Quiner, and welcome back to the Daily D20, your daily dose of all things tabletop role-playing games, helping you build your world and master your game. And today, like I mentioned, we're talking about Bards, we're talking about Cantrips, we're talking about setting your Bard up for success and not dying in the first 10 minutes of the game. Like I mentioned before, the Bard is a very versatile class. They can go martial kind of combat, they can go heavy spellcasting, they can go healing, they can do a lot of different things. Like one of their features in the book is called Jack of all trades. They really are a Jack of all trades class. And while these cantrips, they do cover a lot of uses, but I tried to pick kind of a balanced list so you can look at them and say, oh yeah, that's a good cantrip, or oh no, I don't like that cantrip. Whatever you like, I think I've got something here for you. Anyway, these are my top 5 cantrips for the Bard. First up is Vicious Mockery. This is kind of a staple all Bards should have. It screams Bard. It is the Bard's thing. It's kind of their calling card. And basically, it's a diss. They get to insult somebody. Vicious Mockery, the Bard says something cutting and scathing at a creature that doesn't even have to see them. They just have to hear them. That creature has to make a wisdom saving throw, and if they fail, they take 1d4 psychic damage from the Bard. Plus, in addition to that, they have disadvantage on the next round. A really cool thing about this, it just requires verbal. So if the Bard is tied up or restrained in some way, they can still use the spell and cause some hurting words at their opponent. I also kind of look at this personally as more of a disadvantage machine, not so much as a damage thing. A d4 isn't a lot of damage. You're hitting at a 1 to a 4. That's not a lot of damage at all, and you're averaging at about a 2.5. But this is really good for dealing out disadvantage. That is the thing that's going to hurt the enemy more than the damage. So you hit them, they have disadvantage on their next attack. Next turn comes around, you hit them again, they have disadvantage again. Do I say you should do Vicious Mockery every turn? No, that'd be kind of lame. You should mix it up and have some fun with it, but it's a good in a pinch kind of situation to give disadvantage on an enemy. That is why Vicious Mockery is one of my favorite Bard cantrips. Next up is the spell Thunderclap. Now this should not be confused with Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave is much different, much more powerful. Thunderclap, though, is basically a concussive grenade at the point of the Bard. Basically, they say something, they create a loud boom at their location that can be heard up to 100 feet, which also makes this a really good signal kind of spell. If you need to signal someone further away, you just make a boom. But then anyone in the area, which is just a small 5-foot range, it's not a big area you have to work with, has to make a Constitution saving throw, or else they take 1d6 thunder damage. Similar to the Vicious Mockery, this spell only uses one component, and this time it's somatic, which means a hand symbol. So if the Bard is silenced for some reason and can't actually say anything, they could still cast this spell and get some damage out there and create a ruckus with the loud noise. So that's why I think Thunderclap is a really good, solid, first-level Bard cantrip spell. The spell Friends is the epitome of the phrase, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. It's the idea that for a short while, with some magic, you influence someone who is not hostile to you to become a little more friendly, giving you advantage on persuasion or charisma-based checks with that person. It's kind of neat. You just charm somebody just for a little bit. You just say, hey, buddy. The cool thing about this spell, there is no save, so it's not like you can fail if you cast this. The downside of that, though, is you only have 1 minute to use it, and then that person knows that they've been magically influenced, and they will react accordingly, oftentimes becoming hostile, sometimes even wanting to kill you, depending on their attitude. It's at GM's discretion in that case, but all that said, if you use it to quickly get through a door, get in down a hallway, get somewhere quickly, it's a very useful tool that can help sway the party so they don't get bogged down in a bunch of combat. They can just get past an adventure, or get past a checkpoint real quick, I guess you could say, and move on. Use that honey, don't use so much vinegar, because you're a Bard. The spell Message I mentioned in another top 5 cantrips video, and it's just a cool spell. It's message. It's like the walkie-talkie. It's a magical walkie-talkie. You can pick a creature up to 120 feet. You don't even need to say anything to cast the spell. You just point a finger. It's just a somatic component you got. Then you whisper something, and only that person, that creature, can hear you. They can then whisper one thing back to you up to 120 feet through solid objects as well, so that's kind of cool. You don't even need to be in the same room to cast this spell. This thing is neat. I often think about it, communication is key in parties. You need to communicate, and sometimes having this open discussion is not the best way to do it. Sometimes you want to whisper something, you want to play off this, tool, and that's something I personally think I want to kind of enforce in my games, so if my players are watching this, be ready to stop talking about your plans in front of the enemies. Just saying. But I just think it's a cool tool. Why would they put this in there if they didn't want us to use it and have some interesting communication systems within our party? But on top of that, it doesn't only work for the party. You can use it for non-party members. You can use it on a creature. Maybe the bard wants to flirt with someone across the bar and they don't want the party to hear about it, so they can send a message over to someone and flirt with them. Not to give bards any more ideas, not that they need any more ideas of how to flirt with people. Most have probably done that already, but just saying, it's an idea. So that's why message becomes my number 4 of my top 5 bard cantrips. And the last one I like so very much is Prestidigitation. Not only is this word very awkward to say and easy to mix up, just like thaumaturgy, Prestidigitation. It's kind of a weird word, but it's very versatile. It has a lot of different effects that it can create, and because of that, you have a lot of different situational uses for it that I think is really cool and really neat to have a bard have this on hand. Especially have that one player who's always like, oh, I don't like being dirty. Having a bard with Prestidigitation to help people be less dirty is great. Prestidigitation is more of like a party trick. You have several different effects that can be made. You can clean something, you can make something dirty, you can make noises, you can create small illusionary effects, you can have sights and sounds being created, you can heat or cool food if you want to, and add some flavoring to it. Basically, you could spice up your food life on the road. You can also leave small markings on things that just maintain for up to an hour, and on top of all that, you can have 3 of these effects happening at once with Prestidigitation. So you can have all this stuff happening, and bards, they're showmen, they're performers most often. They want to be the center of attention a lot of times. This is a lot of assumption about bards. However your players play their bard is on them, but this is how bards I've seen like to be. So Prestidigitation is a really great spell, and it's kind of just something all bards should keep in their back pocket all the time. It's just a lot of fun. So that is my 5th bard cantrip that I really enjoy. What are your favorite bard cantrips? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to learn more about different spellcasting classes, go ahead and click this video over here. And if you want to see more cantrip videos or top 5 videos, go ahead and click this video over here. And of course, I've been Richard. Thanks for watching.